Ben Shapiro says, everyone who was screaming about genocide disappeared as soon as a deal was put on the table.
I do have a question. Where are all the people who kept yelling about genocide? Where did they go? Like, seriously, where did they go?
Right here.
Because all the people who are screaming about genocide now...
Been here every day, Ben.
A deal's on the table that stops all of this, that frees hostages.
Wait, you agree, Ben, that it is a genocide? So it's not a genocide, but now that you stop the genocide, you're wondering why we're ungrateful.
That stops the bombing campaign in Gaza, that rolls back the Israeli military presence to a decided upon line, and they've all ghosted the internet. They're gone. They just...
Nope, no they haven't. I don't know where you found that, but we're all still here.
Appeared, poof, they're just gone.
No, still here. Hi.
It's kind of amazing. Now,
no, it's really not, actually, because it's not true.
You would imagine that if you spent 2 years fighting against...
No, just imagine for a second that everything that I'm telling you, which is a lie, is true. It's pretty crazy, right?
An actual genocide, not a fake genocide like what's happening in Gaza, which is not by any stretch of the imagination or any definition ever a genocide.
Yeah, it's a fake genocide. Yes, that's right. It's one of those fake genocides. Okay, Ben, if it's not a genocide... what could we call it then? What is it? It's not a genocide. It's just the mass murder of children and women and the complete destruction of an entire civilization concurrent with a policy of forced starvation as a weapon of war. Okay, so it's that. It's not a genocide. Suppose, Ben, that it wasn't a genocide, and then also consider that maybe it's just mass murder with forced starvation as a weapon of war.
Imagine that you were fighting like a real genocide, like the Rwandan genocide. And
they love the Israelis. They love that word, imagine. It's their favorite word. Imagine.
A deal happened to stop the genocide, and then
he's like, I'm not going to compare what Israel is doing to anything because it's not a genocide, but also just compare it to the Rwandan genocide. Let's take a real genocide to compare it to the fake genocide that Israel is supposedly committing. Shapipi thinks the entire internet is TikTok. Yeah, I don't know what I don't think he does think. I do think it's quite revealing that he wears a bra pad on his head because he is in fact a boob.
All the people who were fighting to stop it just disappeared. They didn't say anything. They didn't celebrate. They didn't say this is a good thing. They didn't give credit. They didn't try to, like, nothing. They just go totally silent. What might that tell you about those people? I mean, the first thing would be that they don't
go off script, Ben.
To actually care about the supposed genocide, right? That would be the thing that would immediately pop to mind, that you didn't care about that it was all a lie, that you actually had another reason that you were doing this routine. The Washington Free Beacon has an excellent rundown.
You see, it's the real thing. That's the real point Ben's making. What a great point. The people that are opposing genocide and don't want to see children being bombed and mutilated every day on their phones, they actually have an ulterior motive. It's not actually about the children. It's not actually about the victims, okay? It's really about them trying to push a political agenda because they secretly hate the
of many of these so-called anti-genocide activists who have gone completely missing, like completely MIA. Mehdi Hassan over at MSNBC, right, former MSNBC personality.
Yeah, we just watched a video of his, Zateo Media, documenting crazy Israeli settlers talking about how they gleefully recounting, I should say, their war crimes for everyone to see and hear.
Who now spends his days on the internet talking with wild lefties and people who like Marjorie Taylor Greene, as we'll get to in a moment. He put out a statement, I love that we live in a world where we're all supposed to now praise Trump for his peacemaking and ignore the fact that at least 20,000 Palestinians have been killed on his watch with bombs and bullets and rhetorical support that he supplied to Israel. I mean, Mehdi seems pretty salty about the fact that Trump actually got to the end of this thing.
Can you imagine that Mehdi was salty about the senseless slaughter of tens of thousands of children? Whoa, Mehdi. Gee whiz, awfully defensive there. What's the matter? You can't stomach a few crimes against humanity? Awfully suspect.
He then went on to predict that Israel will violate the terms of the deal and all the rest.
You get the sense as Ben is reading this, he's like, this is not a good argument. Damn, actually, Mehdi has a point. How am I going to wrangle this one together? Neat Yeet, thank you for the super chat. I know all this stuff wears us out to hear over and over, but it was spaced repetition in our public advocacy that built our movement. That's right. I try to remind myself about this, actually, every day, that I know a lot of times I'm repeating myself, but you never know who's listening, who's hearing it for the first time. And I know that live streams are like a revolving door, people coming and going. So we got to remind people of the finer points. You know, it's very, very basic. It's very simple. And we need to remind the people of the simplicity.
Like, not a moment of credit for Trump. Instead, no. We're supposed to be upset with Trump that the things that were necessary to get to the peace happened.
Yes, we should be upset with Trump. He has cheered on the bloodletting. He's made it unfathomably worse. He doesn't deserve any accolades, least of all Nobel Peace Prize. He told us that he wanted to turn it into Maragaza, and you know, it was an incredible real estate opportunity. And then they're carrying that out right now. We have Jared Kushner and his finance capital team already drawing up plans for the future of Gaza, restructuring it, rebuilding it in the likeness of its IMF, World Bank, BlackRock, private equity creators. It's utterly despicable. The entire civilization has been destroyed. And Ben Shapiro is butthurt that Donald Trump isn't getting a pat on the back. He's like the worst fascist, you know? He's just like, oh, he's just so nerdy, but he's like the nerdy fascist that never got stuffed into a locker in high school, and it shows. Let me see. I want to make sure that we hit all the points here.
They didn't say this is a good thing. They didn't give credit. They didn't try to, like, nothing. They just go.
They didn't give credit. Credit to who? He's probably talking about credit to Donald Trump.
And a deal happened to stop the genocide. And then all the people who were fighting to stop it just disappeared. They didn't say anything. They didn't celebrate. They didn't say this is a good thing. They didn't give credit.
There's no end to the genocide. I mean, what is Ben talking about? As if Israel hasn't violated the ceasefire literally 3,455 times. And they have violated the ceasefire. The genocide continues. The people are still starving. There's still going to be hundreds of thousands more dead. Nobody's celebrating. Yeah, like, because it wasn't a good thing. Right. How is Palestine free? How you know, it's just completely ludicrous. Thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe to the page to help it grow. And if you'd like to support my work, join my Patreon for exclusive content.